Hasn't been often lately, but sometimes I'm actually on time with my pages. So this one I'm actually making a few days before it's supposed to be released. What? So as you can see, I started with a page, and this page had a great big tear in it because it got paint on it and it stuck to the page behind it. So I'm reconstructing the page by putting a piece of masking tape on the front and on the back, just to create something that the paint can stick to and create a whole bunch of layers. It'll be really thick and good. So if you ever get some pages that get torn up or something and you need to work on them, feel free to cover them up or rebuild them with masking tape, you know. So I wanted to leave that part in, and then the rest of this is mostly just me putting masking tape on the page. This journal is almost done. It has one or two more spreads left in it. I think two. I think it's got one more double page and then a single page. And this is from my friend Paula in New Zealand, this journal, so she'll be happy to know that I finished one of her journals. There's another one that she gave to my wife, but I think I'm going to confiscate it because Jen's a smash booker, and I think I would do it some justice. Not that Jen wouldn't. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think that I'm going to steal it. So, as you can see, I'm putting on some invisible glove. I've tried to get just in the habit of putting this on anytime that I go into my craft room. It really helps clean up my hands so that I'm not a big old mess when I come out. And I covered this in a layer of golden gesso. As you can see, the tape pretty much blends in. I mean, you can see the edges, but you won't by the time I'm done. This is that paper drywall tape from Lowe's. And if I'm not mistaken, Lowe's is the only place that carries this stuff. And I'm just creating just a stack, which is blah, blah. It's the end of the day. It's 8 o'clock and I'm tired. So, and it was a very long day today. So I'm just creating just a background. And someone in my last video, and I'll probably talk more about this in my Q&AA video coming up, but they asked if I have a plan when I sit down to create. The short answer is no. No plan. I don't plan anything. So I am spraying some horizontal stripes with Heidi Swap Color Shine, and the blue is navy and the green is chartreuse. And I knew that the tape would soak in the color shine, and that the gesso would lift up. I didn't expect it to lift up that much, so you're going to see me do some stuff. So first I wanted to make sure that tape is stuck down really well, and I used a little bit of matte medium to do so. So that's what I'm doing here. This is Fluid Matte Medium by Liquitex. And that just creates a layer of plastic to help keep that paper tape down because it's not extremely sticky. You wouldn't think that when you went to go peel it off of the roll because it's almost impossible to peel off of the backing, but it is not very sticky. Now I know this seems counterintuitive, but this is a layer of clear gesso, and the reason I'm adding clear gesso on top of matte medium is because the clear gesso is absorbent. So when I sprayed the background and the color resisted, or the gesso resisted the color, it won't do that now that I've got clear gesso. So sometimes you just have to think about what you want to do and what products you have that will help you accommodate that. So I wanted to spray this whole background, not just the paper parts. So that's what I'm doing here. As you can see, it took the color a lot better this time. But gesso is still not extremely absorbent, so it'll still do some of the water reactive stuff that you want to do with it. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm spraying my hand with water, flicking it on, and then pouncing up the color just to get a slight distressed background. And this page is super, super shiny. Those color shines are really, really pretty. I like them a lot. I got that navy on clearance and it made me happy because navy, hello. So I got some really cool water spots from that technique. Alright, so up next I wanted to do some drips, and I decided to do that with Heidi Swapp Color Shine in bronzer, and I love the color. The color is really pretty. It looks dark brown. It looks almost black when you put it on, but it's got like a brownish tinge to it, and then it's got a gold shimmer. But unfortunately, when it dries really light. The pigment does, so it's not very visible. So it looks dark here. It looks like there's a whole bunch of color. Yeah, there's not. See. So I took the rest of the bronzer that I had and used a fan brush just to flick it onto the page. Again, just creating some interesting background color and layers. And this is Gold Color Shine. I love this color. It's just so vibrant. This is one of the colors that do not lighten up. So when it goes on, it looks like liquid gold, and then when it dries, it looks like liquid gold. It's great. And this is Black Fluid Acrylic by Golden. I think it's Bone Black is the color. And I just added some color and then dripped this. Now this lightens up too, mostly because I didn't use a whole lot of paint, so there's not a lot of pigment in there. There's a lot of water, and then it's also mixing with the color shine. But you'll still be able to see it. And as you can see, the key that's sitting there that fell off of another page, I had to glue it back on. So then I wanted to do another layer of drips. I haven't done drips in a very long time. Or at least it feels like it. Jen wouldn't agree. She hates drips. So I'm sorry I missed this part. That's why I left the drying footage in. It's these are Tim Holtz plastic alpha parts, and I covered them in clear gesso and then sprayed them with Heidi Swapp Color Shine in gold. And the clear gesso helped the color shine stick to the plastic. Otherwise, color shine just beads up on these plastic pieces. So covered it in clear gesso, dried it, then put color shine. Now I'm using Fabri-Tac to glue it down, and I just bought these. I don't just because I like the plastic pieces, so I have never used them. So I pulled it out and I was like, ooh, numbers. So I used 6 and 4, and I'll get into why I used those in just a minute. I'm sure half of you have guessed by now. This is a Seven Gypsies metal book edge, and I bought this on sale somewhere for like $1 or $2, and it came with 2 of them. And I was like, why not? So I pulled it out, stuck it on the edge of the book, and called it a day. And you can see it on both pages. It's neat. So this is my one of my favorite things to do is to journal on my page in just kind of a sloppy handwriting and then cover it up. And I'm using a Micron pen, and I think it's a 02. I think that's the nib size. I like Microns. They're good pens. So I didn't want to be able to read that journaling. So this whole page, so by the way, what I did was I folded the page, that little inclusion, back over itself, and I'm using my Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher to staple it. I used 3 staples in 3 different parts. This is a piece of Tim Holtz something resist paper, and it was just in my stash with navy color shine, and this is a Seven Gypsies tag with chartreuse color shine, and just a little water on the rag, and check out how that font comes through. Yeah, it's awesome. So I was journaling about how hard it is being tall sometimes, and I know a lot of you little tiny short people are going to be like, oh, it's so hard being tall, don't we all feel bad for you? No, you don't understand. Like, I'm sure it's difficult being short as well. You can't reach things on the top shelf, and I'm sure that's difficult. As you can see, I'm tearing this paper and just gluing it down so it wraps around the edge. But it's hard being this tall as well, it's hard finding a car you fit in. That is so. I do not fit in the Honda Pilot. I don't fit in a Honda Pilot, and that's a pretty good sized SUV. I don't fit. Friend of mine got one, and they're like, "Get in, there's so much room." I couldn't even get my knees in. So, yeah, I'm 6'4", and people always ask me to get stuff off of the top shelf, and yeah, so I'm not complaining because sometimes it's great being tall, but it was just something in my life I had to journal about. So, and then I saw the numbers, and I was like, oh yeah, perfect. So, I'm just figuring out placement for all this stuff. It's really not easy being tall. Got long legs. Your feet hang off the end of the bed. I'm telling you guys, it's not that easy. Pants are almost impossible to find. And I just wrote a little something about being tall right there, just so I knew what the journaling was inside. This is archival ink in jet black, just right around the edge of the page. This is some chicken wire I got from my friend Monica. Thank you, Monica. She sent it to me, and I'm like, ooh, green chicken wire. I'm not sure when I'm ever going to use that. And then I went to pull out my metal stuff, and I'm like, oh, green chicken wire. Awesome. You never know when you're going to love something. So I stapled it on because it's so hard to glue chicken wire on. This is a little metal thing. I don't even know what its first life was, but now it's like a little metallic peephole, or I don't know. So I just used some E6000 to glue that down, and this is a little piece of book page, and I just cut a very small heart out. I was feeling the France Papillon love. I just adore her, and this is nowhere near as small or as fabulous as her little hearts, and I'm not even sure how she makes her little hearts, but I saw that little hole, and I was like, oh, I need to fill this with a little heart. Learn to love your height, Aaron. So that's where that little heart came from. And I'm just using a little bit of hot glue and tweezers because it's so small, and my hands are kind of big. So I'm just using some tweezers to glue that down. And I used Barn Door to ink it up so it was red. Not that it matters in the end. You'll see. So I was out of glossy accents. I was out of crackle accents. So I used sepia accents. And it's not my favorite look. But it came out okay. See? It looks all red. So it's a little pop of red. So there's my page about how tall I am. And I really like how this one came out. I like the gold. I'm normally not a gold person, so it was fun getting to use gold. So I hope you like this one, and I will talk to you all soon. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Check out my website. Talk to you later. Bye.